All right, so I know y'all saw the title. We're gonna be talking about how I overcame depression. So now, just to give y'all a little bit of background, I'm a 21-year-old black male, born and raised NYC, right? Born and raised under a two-parent household, both parents in my life, no divorce, no separation, no none of that. One brother. And I'd probably say I went through depression starting in COVID 2020. So I graduated during COVID. I had a socially distant graduation. We had to wear masks and all these different things. And for me, this was the time period of when I was depressed, of when I hit my lows. So now let's walk you through how I became depressed, how was it when I was depressed, and how did I overcome it? How I overcame it. So, leading up into COVID, I'm gonna be honest, I was slowly starting to lose my confidence as a young growing adult, as a young teen, right? I was slowly gaining a little weight, but not becoming fat. You know what I'm saying? I started going out less. I started to play less basketball. I started to run. I didn't run track anymore. And I became more of a homebody of where I used to just stay home, play the video game, play 2K, play Fortnite, play whatever, and I would just stay home. I remember the days, I can go back and I can ask my boy right now, during the summer when Overwatch was at its prime, I was playing Overwatch 5 hours minimum daily. Every day playing Overwatch, every day eating Chef Boyardee, every day eating ramen, every day having a little bit of pizza, having a little bit of Chinese, because I'm like, I still, walk, I still do all these things. I'm still a little bit active, when we all know that was nonsense, right? And now fast forward where we get the news of, you're gonna have the next 2 weeks off because of this unknown disease. And those 2 weeks then became an eternity, basically, right? This was when I really, really started to fall, where I can show you, I used to average 200-300 steps a day. I would eat pizza daily, Chinese food, Hot Pockets. Vegetables were unknown to me unless my mom cooked. And even then, sometimes I would deny my mom's cooking and I would eat out. I would eat pizza, I would eat Chinese. I would use my allowance on food, you know what I'm saying? And then whenever they bought stuff, I would, of course, partake, you know what I'm saying? No was not a thing in my repertoire, all right? So I was eating like this on a daily basis, just bam, 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 bam. And then sweets, don't get me started on sweets. Cookies, cake, donuts, cookies, Haagen-Dazs. It was just a constant thing with me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, no was not a part of my repertoire. And then this led to my infamous birthday. I'll never forget, I was turning 17. And this is when I feel like I truly hit rock bottom within my depression. Not only was I fat, not only did I have a bad body image, not only did I not have confidence, not only did I have one of my lowest points of self-esteem in my life at the time, right? I had a birthday and it felt like I was so unseen. It felt like I was just forgotten about. It felt like I was unloved. My birthday came along, and you know how usually from family members, from friends, and all these different things, you get birthday texts, or on Instagram you get a birthday shout out, or on Snap you get a birthday shout out and stuff like that. It gives you a little dopamine rush, let's be honest. I'll never forget my 17th birthday. It was like everyone forgot about me. Like a lot of family members either sent me texts late or forgot to send me a text. You know what I'm saying? A lot of so-called friends from high school and all these different things never looked out for me. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like the most unseen person in the world. I felt completely unloved and felt like I was just disregarded in life. So all I did was eat dessert, and go in my room. My parents did their thing in the living room, and I just laid on my bed, looked up at the ceiling, and felt like, wow, is this what life is right now? Is this what could possibly be the rest of my life? This is when I started to have some self-reflection. This is when I started to really think about, like, hold on, what is going on in my life and what is going on with my current predicament? You know, and that's the first step, self-reflection, realizing, hold on, like I'm not cleaning up after myself, hold on, I'm treating my place like shit, hold on, I'm eating like shit, hold on, I'm feeling like shit, hold on, I have no energy, hold on, the things I used to love to do, I don't love to do anymore. The things I used to like to do, I don't want to do them anymore. I used to have drive, but now I don't have drive. You know what I'm saying? I used to have vision, now I don't have vision. Like I said, we must remember that in this world, we wrestle against spirits and principalities. We do not wrestle against the physical. Everything is spirit. Everything is in the spirit, you know? And the spirit of depression can come upon you, and which is why you need to become aware, and which is why self-reflection is so important, is so needed. And that's what I started to realize. I'm like, hold on, I'm fat as fuck, right? Oh, I'm sorry. This is gonna be a real raw video, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be cursing, I'm sorry. But I'm like, yo, I'm super fat right now. I feel horrible. This is the worst I ever felt in life. And I'm like, hold on, this could be the rest of my life. This could be the rest of my life. And I'm like, I'm laying in my bed, fat as hell, stuffed to the gills, and I'm like, yo, this is not the life I wanna live. This is not the person I wanna be. This is not the person I envisioned in freshman year, in middle school, in elementary school, in fucking summer camp, in kindergarten. This was not the man I was expecting to be. So now, this is the thing, right? I could either sit and wallow and continue to be, oh, woe is me and all this or that. But guess what? I decided, you know what? I'm gonna change this. Guess what? I'm gonna actually start doing a little bit of research. But like I said, first step is self-reflection. Now, like I said, you know, if you are in the spirit of depression, guess what? It might last you a couple weeks. It might last you a couple months. For me, it lasted a couple months. I was depressed for a couple months. You know what I'm saying? I had very low self-esteem for actually more than a couple of months. I had low confidence for more than a couple of months. So this is a process. I need y'all to know this. So guess what? If you've been depressed for a couple of weeks, guess what, man? Your time ain't over. You know, it's just once you start that self-reflection, that's when the process starts. That's when you can start overcoming. But now let's move on. Now 2021 starts. I'm doing my research. I'm watching one of my favorite creators in the fitness space. I'm watching Will Tennyson. I'm watching Greg Doucette. I'm watching Derek from More Plates, More Dates. All these different guys. And I'm researching, how do I lose weight? How do I spot reduce fat? How do I lose fat in my stomach? And how do I lose fat in my face and all these different things? And I'm learning all these different things, finding out all these different things. And all things led to one thing, or two things, sorry. Diet, exercise. Diet, exercise. So I finally strapped on my boots, and what did I do? I went and I walked my ass. No, first, actually, I'm lying. Because gyms weren't open yet. So what did I do? In the dead of the winter, in January, New York City, 2021, I went and put some boots on and I started walking. And when I tell you, I used to walk for 30 minutes, then for 30 minutes turned into 45 minutes, then 45 minutes turned into an hour, then the hour turned into an hour and a half, then the hour turned into 2 hours. And I used to just walk. I used to walk miles. Cause I'm like, and I used to track every walk. And I'm like, and all I used to do is just listen to music. Michael Jackson, all these different guys, Prince. I used to listen to Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, all these different guys. Cause I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go and put on these shoes and I'm gonna start losing some weight somehow, some way. Somehow, some way. And literally, I would walk. I would go ahead and walk. I'm walking. You know what I'm saying? And I'm slowly losing weight. And guess what? Somehow, some way, I'm down 10 pounds. But then I hit a wall, because I still wasn't really changing the way I ate. To where now it's just like, all right, well, you got a little bit of the cardio down. Now it's time for you to lock in, and now it's time for you to get into your diet. The hardest part for me was the sugar. Because even now to this day, I still struggle with my sugar intake. I still struggle with keeping in mind and keeping in check of my sugar intake, you know? And it's very hard for me to find balance, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, sugar used to be a reward for me sometimes, you know, for good grades or good athletics or good whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna take me longer than maybe the average person to get over sugar, but guess what? That was no excuse. Because guess what? Now I know my issue. Once you know your issue, once you're aware of your issue and you self-reflected, now it's time to act. You have no excuse now. And then this is when I started tracking. I got my food where and I started tracking. And you can ask my parents. They used to make cookies. They still used to make cookies, cheesecake, all these different things. And for birthdays and all that stuff, I used to just be like, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. And because I was just tired of who I was, of who I used to be. I was tired of that man, because that guy was not who I really am. He was not. I was tired of that. So I used to turn down everything, the Oreos, the Pillsbury cookies, the apple pies, the cheesecakes, the triple chocolate cakes, the strawberry, bro, I used to turn all that stuff down because I was not playing about me. I was not playing about my health. I was not playing about my self-image no more. No more. It was finally time to put myself first and not just my desires. You know, because I guess what, if I wouldn't have done that and I would have actually said, yeah, and I would have never actually pushed to lose weight, to overcome my depression, to overcome my anxiety, I would not be here recording right now. You wouldn't see this confident person that you're seeing right now. You would not, you know? So literally, I started locking in my diet. I started tracking my calories, learning about thermodynamics, really trying to lock in so I know what the hell I'm doing. And I was tracking every meal, every day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. And I started peeping. I'm like, hold on, let me cut out those Ritz crackers. Hold on, let me cut out the cereal. Hold on, let me cut this out. Let me cut that out. Oh my God, that's that many calories? I did not know that. Let me cut out the ramen. Let me cut this out too. Because none of these are conducive for me. And I started eating cauliflower rice, broccoli, all these different things. And then this is when I started to really learn how to cook. Because when you start losing weight, that's when you become creative with cooking. That's when you can start making low calorie stuff that tastes awesome, that tastes amazing. You know what I'm saying? Without using a whole bunch of butter, without having to use a whole bunch of fat. And I started finessing in the kitchen, started making these awesome, delicious meals and stuff like that. And slowly the weight started falling off. And then the government released, or the New York State was like, we're gonna open back up gyms and it's just gonna be socially distant. And I finally went back and I came to the gym. I went to the gym and guess what? I was terrified. What was I terrified of? Of the free section weight. Do I know why? I have no clue. Fear is such a weird thing, you know? Fear is super weird, you know, and like I said, fear is just, a lot of the time we're just scared of the unknown, of the unforeseen, you know? And I used to only stay by like this little small section of machines, just do those, and I would just pump those out. And I actually overworked myself the first time to where I could not even move. Like, I'm using muscles that I've never used or I haven't used in years, and literally I overworked them to the point to where it was hard for me to move said muscles. But at the time, I didn't know any better. I just wanted to work. I just wanted to become a better version of myself. I just wanted to level up. So I was literally going to the gym 5-6 times a week. Also, like I said, I didn't have no job. Also, there really weren't no jobs available because it was still COVID. People weren't hiring some 17-year-old that has not graduated out of college yet. I mean, out of high school yet. I'm working out, hella sore. And I'll never forget Will Tennyson. He said something like, yo, don't ever be afraid to ask the big dude for advice. You know, because a lot of the times the big dudes in the gym be the most polite. They're the most knowledgeable. And they're understanding of the guy that might have just started. And that kind of just pushed me in the direction to, you know what? Let me go and try to bench press. Let me go and try to military press. Let me go and try to squat. Let me try to deadlift. And then I found something that I loved. And I love the feeling of lifting weights. I love the feeling of being sore. I love the feeling of putting in work, of slapping plates on the bar. And slowly but surely, you know, my confidence started to grow a little bit. And slowly but surely, I was looking forward to life. I was looking forward to living. Because I'm gonna be 1,000% honest. When you're depressed, when the spirit of depression is over you, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to do anything. Like life just feels like nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, I never was at the point where I wanted to kill myself, but like, you're just living life and you feel like a spectator. You don't feel like you're living in it. You don't feel like a character. You feel like you're spectating other people and you're just watching your own life go by. And like I said, I was tired of my life just passing by, of me not being confident, of me not being sure of myself, of me not having a positive self-image of myself. And I started going to the gym 5 times a week, 6 times a week, just going to the gym, still walking, and also occasionally jogging as well. And I'm starting to shed weight off, hitting a couple plateaus where I'm still shedding weight off. And finally I'm starting to uncover, like, oh, hold on. I got a little physique, hold on. I got a little arm, hold on. I got a little shoulder, hold on. I got a little chest, hold on. I got a little couple abs coming in. Hold on, I got a little back, I got a little triceps. I got a little traps, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold on. What is going on? Hold on, I'm losing fat in my face. You know what I'm saying? I could show you a couple pictures right now. I was a little chubby little boy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hold on, like, I'm slowly becoming the man that I've envisioned, that I've always wanted to be. And that's when I started, was like, oh, hold on. Let me like actually really start putting in this work. Now, I know I've been talking about a lot of weightlifting, but I also want to preface and say that there was no such thing as cheat meals. There were no such thing as cheat days. I literally was so locked in where like a cheat meal for me was for me to have a steak and have that for the whole day. That was considered a cheat meal for me. Like, there was no having a little donut on the side, like, no. When you've reached such a low to where you're just like, yo, like, especially coming from me, where I've always was seen as like an ambitious kid and had all these visions and all this different stuff, and all of a sudden, bam, all that goes away. Nah, I need to get back to my real prime self. And I had that realization. So there was no such thing as cheat days. There were no such thing as cheat meals and a little cheat weekend. Like, no. Like, for me, it was like, no, I'm getting this done regardless of whatever it is. No matter what it is, I'm getting this shit done. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, slowly but surely, I'm becoming the man I want to be physically. Chest is growing, shoulders are growing, fat is coming off my face, you know what I'm saying? I'm slowly growing in attractiveness and whatnot, and I'm like, hold on. Like, I'm slowly becoming the person I've always wanted to be. And then here comes the next obstacle, because guess what? Nothing is ever gonna be easy or for free. Remember, nothing in this life is free and easy if it's worth it. And guess what? Overcoming depression is definitely worth it. And so now, here comes the obstacle of anxiety. The spirit of anxiety has always been over me, and I never paid it attention. But now it's time for me to pay it attention if I want to become the person that I've always wanted to be. Now, right, I used to walk like this. Walk with my head down, no eye contact, no bop in my walk, no confidence in my walk, no pep in my step. I used to walk around with my head down, not confident, just looking like blah. Looking like blah. Like, who am I to walk on this sidewalk? You know what I'm saying? And what I started to do was, I used to be very self-conscious of that. I used to point it out to myself. Where I'm like, yo, pick your head up. Pick your head up, chest out. Pick your head up, chest out. Pick your head up, chest out. I used to go to Times Square, and because I used to be very fearful of being around a lot of people. Pick your head up, chest out. Pick your head up, chest out. Try to handshake a random person. Just say hello to a random person. Working on this, working on that. You know what I'm saying? And slowly, you know what I'm saying? And basically, I want to get it through y'all heads that this overcoming depression stuff is work. This overcoming depression, anxiety, whatever it is, bro, it's a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to know, like, whatever is worth it ain't easy, bro. Whatever is worth it ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? This getting out of the depression thing took months. It took months. Combined with the anxiety thing, it took almost 2 years for me to climb out of all this stuff. Almost 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, to finally become the person that I am today. And guess what? I'm still learning stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm naturally an introvert, and I've learned to basically switch and become an extrovert when I have to. You know what I'm saying? And even that took work. Even that took time. And even that I'm still learning and still becoming better at. You know what I'm saying? Nothing that is worth it in this life is free, or ever given to you, or ever really going to be easy. That doesn't mean you're not gonna achieve it. It's just, that means you're gonna have to put a little bit of work. And guess what? There's a lot of people out there that ain't willing to put that little bit of work in. And guess what? That's what's gonna separate you from being a top dog to the little ones. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it 1,000. Because not everybody's meant to be winners. There are winners and losers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the yin and yang. There's gonna be, if there's one of one thing, there's gonna be one of the other thing. If there's good, there's gonna be evil. If there's bad, there's gonna be good. If there's, I don't know, if there's confident, there's gonna be people that are not confident. And what do you wanna be? Do you wanna be the have or the have not? It's really that simple. You wanna be a have or you wanna be a have not? And that's a serious question to ask yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because then that'll determine if this video is for you. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Like, just because you're under the spirit of depression does not mean you're a loser. That does not mean that you're not a winner. That just means that, honestly, that really means that your adversary, that the spirits that are here in this world see so much potential in you that they're like, you know what? Let's try to hinder him, or let's try to hinder her with some depression, with some anxiety, and let's try to get him or her away from their goal, from their purpose in life, from their destiny. So in all actuality, that means that there's something greater for you. You know what I'm saying? When you're constantly attacked by spirits and all these different things, guess what, man? That means that there's something in you that's powerful. I'm telling you that right now. I'm telling you that right now. That's exactly what that means. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? The spirit of depression and anxiety couldn't hold me, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because through this camera, through the phone, through all these different things, through Instagram, through YouTube, through Twitter, whatever it is, I'm gonna empower people, men and women, young, old, whoever, you know what I'm saying, so they could be what they were meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? That's how I got helped. That's how I got helped. You know what I'm saying? I got help through so many awesome creators through YouTube, and I guess you can say through Instagram, but a lot through YouTube, you know, where I learned how to be confident, how I learned how to, you know, interact with the other gender, you know, how to interact with women, you know what I'm saying? How to interact in engagement where you may be feeling disrespected and all these different things. You know what I'm saying? I learned from so many awesome and great creators. So I'm like, yo, like I have to return the favor because they help me. I have to help other people, other dudes, other women, other young women, other older women that may be in the same predicament, you know? And I want to tell y'all that like depression ain't the end all be all. You can climb out of it because guess what I did? You know? And even though at the moment, God was out of my life at the time, he was still in the background. And what I mean by he was out of my life, I mean that he was, for me, I didn't choose him, but he always chose me. I want to let y'all know that right now. That's what helped me get out of it. You know? And I want to tell you that, I want to tell y'all that for real, because I'm really trying to drill this into y'all memory. I'm really trying to drill this into y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know? You gotta be willing to put in the work, man. You gotta be willing to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I'm not really talking too much about the anxiety part is because I did already make a video about that. And if you want, I mean, I'll make a whole nother video about it again and make it way more in depth because I feel like I gave y'all more solutions, but I didn't really tell y'all a crazy amount of how much anxiety really infected me. Because when I tell you, it used to be debilitating, it was debilitating. Like maybe I didn't get the panic attacks, but I used to sweat profusely. I used to stutter. I used to do all these different things. I used to not be able to look people in the eyes. You know what I'm saying? So when I tell you, like I know you guys may see a confident person right now, but guess what? I used to be heavily insecure. I used to be very not confident. I used to be heavily socially anxious. So please, man, please, bro, please. I'm telling y'all the real. I'm telling y'all the truth, bro. I'm telling y'all for real. I want y'all to get it through your heads, man. I'm telling you though, like if you're watching this video, you're gonna make it out of depression, bro. I'm telling you that shit don't have no power over you. You know what I'm saying? Once you realize, once you self-reflect, you can get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the help of others, and especially if you let him help you. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna not mention him. That's just not gonna happen. But anyway, you know, as you can see though, this topic gets me very passionate. You know what I'm saying? It really does. You know, like it really, really gets me. And yeah, someone was really pressing me to talk about it over the last 2 weeks, to talk about how I personally overcame depression. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like I said, my comfort was food, and I heavily lacked in self-love, you know, to where I needed other people's affection, other people's attention to feel loved, to feel important, when that should never be the case. It should never, ever be the case. God loves you, and that should be the numero uno, you know. And with knowing that fact, you should automatically start loving yourself, no matter on your skin color, your creed, your nationality, your gender. None of that should matter. But I want to say, you know, please let me know in the comments if this video may have helped you. Let me know, you know, comment. Please comment, you know what I'm saying? I always love comments. I always love responding to people, you know what I'm saying? And socials will be linked in the description. And that was just a little in-depth, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, 2020 was a serious year for me, but it was a great year for me because it helped me pivot and helped me truly find my purpose, you know? And I'm hoping you guys find yours. It has been the Don's Journey, and I shall see y'all in the next video.